Manchester United 4, Brighton 2, 3 wins in a row for Manchester United. Right now we're 4th in the Premier League table as well. My name is Joe, I'm joined by Finn, aka Academy Scoop. Finn, this sort of 3 games there. There's the first 70 minutes, then there's whatever that was, and then there's the last 90 seconds. Talk to me about that game that we've just seen from Manchester United. I think it was a fantastic performance.
I completely agree. Yeah, there were some different kind of portions and some different sways in momentum, but overall, we were definitely the better team, and it was, just a thoroughly deserved victory from start to finish. I am absolutely buzzing after that because we are finally seeing so many of the things from this United side that I've been wanting to see and that everyone's been wanting to see for the longest time under Ruben Amorim. The application in the press, the quality on the ball, the way that we, showed maturity and bounced back after conceding the 2 goals. So much about that performance deserves a lot of credit, both to Ruben Amorim and the players. Now we sit 4th. Suddenly, the outlook on the season, despite not being in many competitions, everything starts to look a little bit rosier. So, I am absolutely over the moon.
Yeah, of course. I mean, in terms of league position, obviously the teams around us have played 1 game fewer, so the odds are we're not going to end the weekend 4th. I don't even know if we mathematically can end the weekend 4th. But the point is, we've won 4 of our last 5 games. I think we've won 5 of our last 7 games, 3 in a row as well. And if we go back as well just a few weeks to that Brentford game and kind of build up from there, because at that point, it looked as though Ruben Amorim might have gone a step too far in terms of Man United manager. I think a lot of people thought he's not going to be able to turn this around, whether they were calling for him to be sacked or not. I think a lot of people weren't, but they thought there's a chance that this probably doesn't happen now. Since then, it's been pretty excellent, hasn't it? Obviously, we've beaten Liverpool, we beat Sunderland, then Liverpool, then this game today. And in those 3 games, we've seen Sunderland, by the way, who are second, come to Old Trafford and realistically get outclassed by Manchester United. It was 2-0, it was really comfortable. We saw the Liverpool game where I think that game as just a match could have gone either way, but when United were pressed, when United needed to get a goal, they got one. And today, I thought the first 50, 60 minutes, or 75 minutes, whenever it was, Welbeck got the goal on 74, I think United were excellent. I think the way, like you said, that they pressed, I think Mbeumo, we'll get onto him in particular as just what a player he is. But we matched them. And the thing that we did so brilliantly is we almost allowed them to play their game. And I was saying this at half-time, we allowed them to do what they're good at. But if they ever made a mistake, we were on them. It wasn't a case of, we're going to beat you at your game, we're going to have more possession. Brighton had more possession. But United had so many times where we got the ball in good areas. As soon as we won the ball back high up the pitch, there was runners off the ball. They were making those passes early. We turned it into chances. We turned it into shots. United had 4 big chances to Brighton's 1. And that, for me, is the biggest thing of the game. We actually looked dangerous. It wasn't just a case of sit back and counter-attack it. But on the other hand as well, we didn't try and beat them at their own game. We sort of worked them out. We let you do what you're good at, but when you get it wrong, we're going to create chances. How good was that to see? Yeah,
fantastic. I think as a team, we're seeing that they're realising that you can win in several different ways, and that there's variance there. And after the Liverpool game, the expectation that was just that we were going to continue to hit it direct and play kind of Route 1 football. We showed something new today. We were actually able to play through the middle, to press high and force turnovers high up the pitch and create chances through that. And we're seeing a football team who have a plan B when plan A isn't working. And then we have the footballers who have enough variety in their games that they can find solutions at different parts of the pitch and in different situations and different game states. And we saw that today from the likes of Mbeumo, who, like you said, we'll get on to, Cunha, Bruno, who has been, carrying this club for years and now finally has some company in the final third in terms of kind of like-minded and similarly able players who can really kind of bounce off him and create something special in the final third. So it's such a joy to see those kind of combinations. And you noticed as soon as there was a little bit of confidence after that first goal and carrying the confidence from Liverpool in, everyone's game is transformed into something that looks so much more fluid, so much more kind of potent in the attack. Just really, really lovely to see. And going back to Amorim, you mentioned there was a point earlier in the season where many people felt that it was kind of over for him, and I think I was probably in that camp as well. And to be fair, we're not completely out of the woods just because of three wins in a row, but there certainly feels like there's been a really kind of noticeable shift. We feel able to win games, which is so silly to be talking about as Manchester United, but I think we're going into games more and more with the expectation that we should be winning. I think it will still be a while where we feel like, the next game's really important, so we keep that momentum going. But eventually it will and should become the norm, and it looks like we're finally starting to turn, towards that direction. And we always talk about, have we turned the corner? Maybe we have.
And also, turning the corner doesn't mean that you're never going to lose again.
No.
Or that it's just going to be, phenomenal performances for the rest of our lives. It just means that we've gone from playing games looking bad and losing, which is, I think, what we did a lot of last season, to playing games looking all right and losing, which is what it was at the start of this season, to now we're playing games, we're looking all right, and maybe we're looking a little bit better than all right, and we're winning. That's the corner that we've turned. I don't think we are playing that much different now than we did. Compare two games: Man United versus Arsenal, Man United versus Fulham, to Man United versus Liverpool, Man United versus Brighton. We were better today than we were against Fulham, 100%. But we weren't that much better against Liverpool than we were against Arsenal, but it's 3 points to 0. We weren't that much better today than we were against Fulham. I think we were better, but not, it wasn't a whole world apart. And again, it's 3 points versus 1. So I think one of my favourite things about what we've seen so far this season, and then what we've seen in the last 3 games, is that it's only really, yes, there's been another step up, but it's not been drastically different to how we've been all season. I think we've been noticeably better all season. It's just that now we're able to put those things together, and we're able to hold on to leads a bit better, and we're able to, find space in the final third a bit better. We seem to be gelling, but it doesn't feel fake or fluky or like it's going to run out. I think we have seen a genuine improvement that started with that Arsenal game, and we are still improving now. And this is, for me, the best performance all season. I think we were really good today. And the fact that they scored 2 is, I think, a little bit fortunate for them. I think the goal that they scored, the Welbeck free kick, was obviously fantastic, but it was a shocking pass from Dorgu. Yeah. And then I don't really even think a foul on the edge of the box. I think he'd kicked the ball to Lomans and played for a foul and happened to win one. And then the second one, Xerxes doesn't look over his shoulder, and the lad gets in front of him and heads it in at Kostoulas.
These aren't goals where you're getting outplayed either on quality or systematically. I think these are goals that you can kind of chalk down to maybe a little bit of bad luck, a little bit of bad fortune when it comes to the referee, and obviously you create your own luck. But I think we've actually seen a bit of a shift in luck, because, like you've mentioned, the performances from really the start of the season and potentially even towards the end of last season, they've been pretty consistently at least decent. Something's starting to shift there, where the results actually reflect the improvement in the performances, and I'm just really, really happy to see that. Yeah,
me too. We've got loads of super chats, so we're going to get into some of these, and also I want to talk about just player quality in a minute, because that's such a big thing. Lauren Rose has joined the academy. Thank you very much. DRZ says mostly outplayed Brighton and the ref. Love Mbeumo. Cunha got the goal contribution to that his overall play deserved. His flair can be contagious. GGMU. Ben Toppin says absolutely insane game. So happy for Cunha. Sesko is brilliant. Also notice how much more class Bruno looks now. He doesn't have to do as much. Parag says the difference a competent and reliable keeper makes is incredible. And J-Bone McSwiggins says Danny Welbeck strikes again. United. A couple of mentions there for Cunha, for Mbeumo and for Bruno. On Mbeumo to start with, 2 goals today. The first one, well, they were both excellent finishes, but the first one for me is a really classy finish, using Dunk as a bit of a foil and kind of just stroking it into that near post, knowing that the keeper's not going to see the ball until it's really late. But his touches, his consistency, his passing, his decision making, he's absolutely fantastic, isn't he? He's a better player than I thought he was.
Yeah, he's definitely come in. Obviously, I was aware of how fantastic he's been at Brentford, but I thought that there would be a bit more of a transition period for him to come in and start banging in these goals, but it just seems to be second nature for him. He's clearly got such a good understanding of the Premier League, such a good feel for the kind of physicality and the timings of everything. And yeah, there are a lot of his shots, for the first one, for example, I didn't think he'd get the shot off, but he seems to just have this knack for directing the ball in just the right way to leverage an advantage over defenders, wrong foot them a little bit. And yeah, it was a fantastic finish for the first. And then the movement to peel onto the left channel for the second one, and the feint from Bruno, which was beautiful. And then the finish into the top right corner. It's just so much quality being exuded in these goals. And something that we haven't seen from United's attackers consistently for an age.
Yeah, for ages. Before we carry on, go to our merch site and check out our new stuff. We've got loads of new stuff on there. You can see the link there. The link is also in the comments. It's also in the description. If you want it, you'll be able to find it. We've got loads of good stuff, loads of new stuff as well. So if you want to check it out, please do, obviously, including this T-shirt. We've got hoodies, we've got long-sleeve T-shirts, we've got mugs, we've got cups, we've got just everything. Go and check it out. Honestly, there's loads of really, really cool stuff in there. The quality thing is a big thing for me. And again, it's something I mentioned at half-time, but I do want to reiterate it. I think when you look at what makes up a good team, managers make a heavy chunk of a difference. They do, but the thing that is the biggest thing is the players. They are the ones who take the touches, pass the ball, take the shots, make the tackles. And a system can really help maximise players, but you can't be someone that you're not just because you've got a good manager. And I think the signings that we've made so far, Cunha and Mbeumo in particular, just in our ability to play out from the back, have absolutely changed things. I think that Brighton, the way that they press, the way they hold their lines, the way they sort of play through opposition teams, was stopped and was sort of neutralised so much by just the quality that we've got. And Ahmad needs so much credit as well. Yep. He's playing as a right wing back when he's the smallest player that we've got. He's probably the skinniest player that we've got, and yet he never looks weak. He never looks like he hasn't got the strength or the composure to do the things that you would expect of a defender. And then going forward, he's obviously got all the talent of an exceptional attacker.
Yeah,
it's so good to see a team where you think, actually, I believe that they can make that pass. Oh, and he has. The ball's up in the air. I think he's going to bring that ball down. And not just as Mbeumo brought the ball down, he swept it into his path past the defender with the first touch. We all sat here and we cheered for Garnacho and we cheered for Jadon Sancho when they played for Man United because they were Manchester United players. But the quality difference is amazing. Yeah. What I see from Mbeumo and Cunha is another level to what we've seen from our wingers and attackers in the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, I think we almost kind of didn't realise how far below the level some of these attacking players that we've had in recent seasons that have been consistently underperforming, how far off it they've been, especially with the standards that Manchester United have. Obviously, don't want to talk too negatively about ex-players and go on for too long about them, but it is such a breath of fresh air to see players who you consistently expect to do the right thing and to beat their man and to create the chance or to finish the chance. You expect that from these players, from Cunha, from Mbeumo. Obviously, Cunha's taken a while to get off the mark. Now he finally has today. But I fully expect him to kick on and score many of those chances and hopefully add some more variety to the goals that he scores. But yeah, 90% of a manager's job is to make sure that you're platforming your best players properly. Yeah. And I think you have to say that Amorim is doing that at the moment because, our whole attacking line, that front three or front five, however you want to view it, they look like they're enjoying their football. They look like they understand the intentions of the players around them. And there's a really kind of impressive synergy being built there where they all seem to kind of complement each other nicely and play into each other's strengths. And that is a recipe for kind of sustained goal scoring, and I think hopefully we're going to continue to see us score many, many goals through the likes of Mbeumo and Cunha, Sesko, who's shown today that he can be a playmaking asset as well, not just a goal scorer. Really, really was impressed by his assist for Mbeumo's goal. So yeah, so many positives from that attacking line. Yeah, massively. Some other bits I want to look at as well. I was looking who United sort of top performers defensively were. So I was looking at defensive contributions, I was looking at tackles, I was looking at ball recoveries, and then I was looking at shots, I was looking at chances created, I was looking at number of passes made, I was looking at expected goals, and the person that comes out on the top of all of those is Bruno Fernandes. What a fucking player he is. He was exceptional.
He literally made more tackles than any other Man United player and had more shots than any other Manchester United player. Like, he had the most pass. Like, he's one of those players where you just think, today was a quiet game for Bruno Fernandes. He was quiet today. He wasn't. I don't think anyone would say he had a bad game. I know people like to call him out when he has a bad game, and fair enough. But I think today most people go, he's quite quiet. He literally did the most of everything at both ends of the pitch. Like, what are we talking about? This guy is unbelievable.
That is Bruno at his best.
Yeah, I think he was fantastic today. And that dummy that he does for that fourth goal, to even know, because he could have controlled that ball or done, to even know that there's someone behind him to let the ball go. Watch it again if you didn't see it. He dummies that ball for Brian Mbeumo. It's unbelievable. I just think he just goes completely under the radar in games like that, where it's no goals, most duels won of anyone who plays for Manchester United. Most tackles for anyone who plays for Manchester United. And then, like I said, he had 4 shots more than anyone else at Manchester United. I think the second most expected goals of anyone for Manchester United. It's absolutely unbelievable what kind of a player he is.
He was absurdly good today, but not in a completely kind of outspoken way. It was very subtle and kind of measured, but everything he did was positive. Almost everything he attempted came off. Some of the little flicks behind his back, over the shoulder, and again the dummies for the last goal, just really, really beautiful, and spoke to the intelligence that separates him from his peers in the world of kind of attacking and creative midfielders, because he's without doubt a world-class midfielder. And you can see that when the burden is taken off him a little bit, to be that person who is going to score the goals for United every time and come up with assists every game, when that burden's taken off him and he can concentrate on some of the other things, everything about United just looks better, and he can still be at the heart of that as a really, really effective part of this team. Yeah,
I mean, I wanted to talk about the goalkeeper as well, who again I thought was excellent, just did the right things at the right time. There's no sort of show reel saves where I can't believe he got that, but the amount of sort of coming out, claiming the ball high at crucial times, he's just solid. He doesn't palm the ball back into dangerous areas. I thought he was very good again today, Lomans.
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't think there can be much debate about whether he should have saved the 2 goals. I think they were both kind of unfortunate. Really fantastic free kick from Welbeck. It was basically in off the bar, so not much he could have done there. But yeah, he was a real kind of constant for United at the back, that allows United's defenders and attackers to just concentrate on their game without having to worry, is the guy behind me going to is he going to make a mistake if we lose the ball here? So I think that confidence is kind of instilled from the back and goes throughout the team. Also, when United needed a pressure valve, he was able to distribute really effectively to find Sesko or Mbeumo or whoever it was up the pitch, relieve that pressure and move United forward. And yeah, like you said, no kind of world-class saves, but he just does enough. He's steady and reliable, and that's exactly what United need from him.
Massively. JK says, frustrating that we didn't equip ourselves for game week 1. Needing a solid keeper was so obvious and poor by Ineos. Arsenal probably is a win, and we could have avoided the noise and still be in the cup. It's a great point, and I'm sure Ineos, looking back, wish they'd have signed Lomans earlier than they did. But again, it's just nice that right now we can look at a keeper and think, I'm not worried about him.
We can look forward to the future now with the excitement that he's going to be a big upgrade on what we've had in the past.
We do need to look a little bit at that sort of 15-minute spell from the 74th minute to the 90th minute where they did get their goal. I think, for me, I don't want to just pretend that it didn't happen or rule it out. I think it was sloppy from Dorgu. The pass, I don't remember who it went to, but obviously it was our corner, I believe, or set piece. Went back to Dorgu, and it's just a bad ball. Then
it was a bad ball, but I also don't think it was a foul.
No, and I don't think it was a foul either. And all of their pressure and their momentum came from that goal. It's a fantastic finish by Welbeck. I know a couple of people saying that Lomans could have got closer, and I agree with you. It literally skims the underside of the bar on the way in. Unless you're right near that, it's hard to just get that. It wasn't right in the corner, but you watch the way he moves and he dives. He's not leaving anything behind there. I think it's just a really good goal. But honestly, I just think all of that pressure came from just a little slip and a bit of sloppiness from Dorgu. It's the pass for me that messes everything up. It's a fantastic ball in. And like you said, I don't think it's a foul. I think it's a heavy touch, and then he slows down to try and win a foul, and again the referee falls for it. But without that, I think United cruised to a comfortable 3-0 win personally.
If not more.
Yeah. And it was just really good, I think, to get that fourth goal, just to cement and just remind everyone, this isn't a game where we were struggling to hang on. This is a game where the final sort of throw of the dice was us sticking a fourth goal in.
Yeah.
And I think that's a fantastic way to end the game and allow everyone to be as positive as we should be after a really good performance.
And I think it's easy to forget, because we're not used to winning consistently, that in the Premier League, you're going to have moments, no matter how good you are and how many games you're winning, you're going to have moments where the momentum is against you and you're not playing the better football for maybe 15, 20 minutes in a game. Yeah. That is the reality of how competitive and, you know, how competitive the league is and how much quality there is. You're not always going to be on the front foot. And the important thing is, when that momentum does go against you, how do you cope with it? How do you deal with it? And how do you find your way back into the game? And I think we did that perfectly and came away with that fourth goal. So can't complain.
Yeah, completely agree. I mean, there's so much we could go through. I almost feel like you just want to sit and enjoy it a little bit. Like, the pressing was good, this second balls thing, and again, so much of second balls is reading the game and work rate and then winning your duels in those second ball situations. And a lot of that, and I think comes back to what Amram has said for so long, is yes, I will change things. And to say he hasn't been flexible and tweak things over the last 3 or 4 games would just be to be ignoring the obvious on purpose. But before he wants to change things, before he wanted to do that, he wanted those basic principles to be instilled. Working hard, following your men, winning your duels, being more aggressive, more physical, having more stamina and energy than your opposition. And I feel that for once. I actually feel, especially at Old Trafford, we look really good at the moment. And obviously, it's a phenomenal thing to build on in terms of, you know, getting points. But in terms of getting the manager on side, you're playing in front of 75,000 or 71,000 Man United fans. A good home record is such a fantastic foundation to build from, for Amram's sake, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. That's so important. Definitely getting the fans on side at home is a really, really big thing. And to be fair, I think United's home supporters have always been pretty high on Ruben Amorim, always shown that love and support, despite the results not always being in his favour. And now I think that the fact that we are winning games is only going to, really contribute to that. And yeah, again, it's just a case of needing to build on it, really show that this is the new norm for us. Make sure that it's not an exception and that it becomes the standard. And yeah, hopefully we can add a win away next at Forest. I think 4 in a row would be rather lovely. It
would be fantastic, wouldn't it? Tough place to go with their new manager as well. But
definitely,
I have reason to believe we'll at least look like a proper team.
I think we've got the tools to beat most teams in the Premier League.
Yeah, I agree. Lauren Rose, keeping Bruno was just as important as signing Mbeumo and Cunha, in my opinion. I hope we win something major with him. He deserves it. He absolutely does deserve it. Hit like on the video if you haven't already. Manchester United 4. Not just have we won, we've scored 4 goals, by the way, which doesn't happen very often, especially against Brighton, a team that had beat us 6 times in the previous 7 Premier League meetings. Brighton 2. Finn, thank you as always for coming on. It's been a pleasure. It's nice to actually watch United win some games, isn't it?
It's the best.
Thank you for joining us at home as well. We'll be hearing from Stephen Howson later on as well, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Ruben Amorim, bit of breathing room. We've got strikers scoring goals. We've got attackers playing well. I'm nervous. I don't want to
sit with it for a little bit.
Just sit with it for a little bit. Just enjoy it. We'll see you in a bit.